Welcome all to GPVWC's Formula Challenge. We're here at the 11th round of the season. We have been to many classic tracks in the calendar, but it's now time for the Hungaroring. There's not long left on this calendar, and the championship order seems almost secure at the moment. It's James Johnson leading on 343 points, which is very far clear of Stefan Riot's on 251 points. There's 92 points between the two of them, nearly an 100-point gap. Jonathan Holmes, who's actually going to be starting this race from the back of the grid in third position on 215 points, and Carlos Fernandez in fourth on 169. That's Jeffrey Fournier in fifth, Terence Grech, your race winner, back in Hockenheim. Then it's Matthew Chergwin in seventh, his teammate Cameron Brewster in eighth, Randu Muru in ninth, and Johan Lindberg, your race winner in race one, who is actually going to be starting this race from second position as well, Johan Lindberg in 10th position. You've missed qualifying, but we'll go through the order on the formation app. As I said, it's been Stefan Riot who's on pole position, and Johan Lindberg, who is going to be starting from second, which is an excellent qualifying session from him, as well as some new names that will be a bit higher up the order. But either way, it's Lewis McGlade on lead comms, it's Joshua Anderson on co-commentary, and of course, as always, it's Quintin Plane on cameras. So, Josh, some of these new names putting in some very, very good pace in qualifying, haven't they?
Yeah, we have. We got the likes of Mantas Povolitis, who is going to start, I think, P10 in all. Well, you might not start P10 because people have done laps.
I think it's a bit higher than that, actually.
Yeah, I think it is a bit even higher. At least the top 10 in his first. Yeah, he's going to start P6 as Mantas. So,
something like that,
sixth place in his first Formula Challenge race. Definitely making all the right noises in that sense. We've got a couple of new drivers and teams on the grid. I say teams because Magenta WRT are out, and in their place comes Hinds Motorsport, who, of course, we know are quite an established team now, led by none other than the Aussie Thomas Hinds, and should be a great pleasure to see the yellow and green cars on the grid. As you should have been off here in the warm-up. But yeah, we've got a couple of new names as well. We've got Maciek Malek as well, I think. I think that's the way to pronounce it. It's very difficult to pronounce his name, but I don't know. But I think that's how you pronounce it. You got... back in the academy car this time is Remo Lowe's in currently P11 in the warm-up. In the academy car this time is Remo, so having just come out of a good race in the Open Series as well, so he'll be fresh.
Yeah, it's got that current form. You once you've done a race around here, he's got two more to look forward to in the same day, but he's got that momentum built up, so hopefully he'll manage to carry that over from the Open Series race into here. A quick update on the weather conditions. We should be sunny all the way through this event, but it's very, very hot. That's going to be very difficult on tyres, so expect some interesting things later on in the race. I don't expect the order to be the same at the end of the race as it is, towards the start, due to the tyre conditions. You may see people dropping back a little later in the race, but hopefully an interesting race for us.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I mean, the Hungaroring, not necessarily the track that's most famed for overtaking opportunities in the world, but it's a bit of a challenge and either way, and tyres might be an issue around here. We saw that in Open Series. If you use your tyres too much, you will have to make a pit stop. And they will not want to do that. So tyre preservation is going to be a big thing around here.
Yeah, of course, around here back in 2013, I think it was, so a long time ago. Again, tyre wear has always been an issue around this circuit, but back then, that was the first year where lots of people started making pit stops. They were expecting that you needed a pit stop. Other people didn't, went from about 15th or something on the grid up to about second. Was Thomas Jacobs was the most notable one for me. Manuel Gaxella went on to win that race, I believe. But a lot of people thought you had to pit. Whereas if you can conserve those tyres, look after those tyres and go a bit further, you're going to obviously go a lot further in the race and be more comfortable towards the end. I don't expect we will see pit stops, but I reckon some people will be very, very, very hard on their tyres and struggling towards the end, because it's hard, this track, not only on fronts but on rears as well. It's hard on both sides of the car.
Yeah, it's a difficult track on the car. And the tyres as well. That was in R-Factor 1, 2013. This is R-Factor 2, brand new simulator. So, it's going to be more even different to try and save your tyres, because it's a lot easier to wear them out if you make a mistake.
Absolutely. We should be getting over into the race shortly. First off, apologies for we've not got the normal overlay, thanks to R-Factor 2 being buggy, as we all know it is, and we love it for it.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Either way, it is now time for race one. And what a race we have waiting for us. In about 14 seconds, they will be leaving the grid. And the biggest thing to note about this, it is the third pole position in a row from Stefan Ruolt. So that is very important. A thing to say about that, though, is although it's his third pole position in a row, he hasn't actually won since that triple race win streak back in Monte Carlo, and of course the race win before it in Turkey. So he will lead away the grid ahead of Johan Lindberg, who started from P1, took the because Stefan's 5th-place grid drop at the previous round, and Johan obviously went on to win that race. And then it's his Mike Quint directly behind. And then it's James Johnson, your championship leader, a long margin, starting a little bit below his closest championship rival in the 4th position. Then 5th place for Mark Hutchinson. That's a really, really decent qualifying. We discussed that before the broadcast. This is a really big step in form from people like Hutchinson, from people like Lindberg as well, that have made that step forward in this category. Then it's Pavlaitis in 6th position on his debut. In a debut team, that is a fantastic result. Let's see what he can do in this race. Naranjan Kumar in 7th position, again, needs to put that consistency together and move himself further up in that championship. He's way outside the top 10 at the moment. Then it's Terence Grech in 8th position. 2 race wins to his name this season. Obviously, after winning the previous race, what can he do from 8th position? It's a bit better qualifying than what he normally does, to be honest. Then it's Philip Koenig in 9th position and Edouard Batala in 10th. David Junt in 11th position for his team Scuderia Basilia. They've had a bit of setup help from previous Formula Challenge champion Peter Burlack today. It's Matthew Churgwin and Cameron Brewster, the 2 teammates, a bit further down the grid than they would want to be. Then it's Cabrera and the teammate of Pavlaitis, it's Mlinek. Apologies for the pronunciation. I don't know how to pronounce that. Then he's in 15th position, though. So in the points on debut, which is a good place to start. Then it's Ramo Lowe's in 16th position. Then it's Randy Muru in 17th, Rob Mason in 18th, Sam Jones in 19th, Ben Willis in 20th, then it's Brett Metcalf in 21st, Bruno Sousa Ferreira. These are the people that have got back of the grid drop penalties as well as others. Bruno Sousa Ferreira, Jonathan Holmes, Jeffrey Fournier and Michael Bernard all the way at the back of the field after serving their back of the grid drops or 5 to 10 place grid drops starting at the back of the field. Now, Josh, who are we expecting to win this race?
Well, Johnson from 4th, don't write him out. I'm not going to pick him because I suspect you'll pick him. So I'm going to go for Ruolt.
Oh, damn, that's Stefan. Okay, fine. I'm going to go with Lindberg again. I'm going to take it 2 race ones in a row for Lindberg. But either way, the lights are on ahead of the drivers and we are getting ready to go racing for the first time here in Hungary this year. And it is a good start from the front 2 rows as they get away. It's Ruolt who's going to be leading into turn 1 comfortably, though. But Quint is covering off James Johnson into T1 as there's a bit of movement as well. Naranjan Kumar up into 6th position. Johan Lindberg's going to be just having a little peek around the outside. Same with James Johnson on Mike Quint, but they're all going to fall in line. Naranjan Kumar's actually up at the 5th position. Mark Hutchinson's coming under attack from Edouard Batala and Pavlaitis down into T2. Pavlaitis backs out of it. I think there's going to be a bit of contact there, but not quite. Edouard Batala's going around the outside. This is a fantastic start from Edouard Batala. Terence Grech's just off the road at T2 as well. He's dropping back now out of the top 10, but Mark Hutchinson is going to try and stay ahead of Mantis Pavlaitis up into T4. There's not too much of overtaking opportunity into there as they're all side by side at the back of the pack. As that was, there was one of the next. I can't even remember what team that is. There's a team that's just been car that's just been off in the background at T4. It's a very easy place to crash when you're trying that side by side. But either way, it's Stefan Ruolt at the front of the field, leading Johan Lindberg, who's just trying to keep up with Stefan at the moment. There's Mike Quint in 3rd position, looking for another podium this year, and James Johnson in 4th. Behind that, it's the 2 next dev cars as well. But yes, that is a good start from Stefan Ruolt.
Yeah, it's a fantastic start. Ruolt's got a great jump on the rest of the field there. Both SDev cars doing absolutely fantastic. Although to get up to 5th and 6th for the German team, this is going to be an absolutely brilliant little run they've got going then. And well, Hutchinson, P8, Pavlaitis behind, and then
Churgwin and Cabrera off.
Turning on. Oh dear.
Churgwin and Cabrera off at T12. I don't know what's happened. I'm going to have a look at what happened there.
And hang on a minute. Right, well, it was coming round into T12. Tommy went down the inside and Churgwin went defensive. Then Tommy went off and I can't tell what happened there. They just seemed to hit each other somehow and then went off. And Cabrera's out as a result of it.
Yeah, it looked like pretty substantial damage for Cabrera.
Churgwin in the pits with no rear wing. He was quite defensive, mind, going into 12, but that is not one that it's Can't easily, but then again, that's going to be one for the DC, isn't it? Because Tommy went down the inside. Tommy went down the inside, and it seemed like Shagan was still going right. He was still going right, and then Tommy tries to get the switch back. And oh, yeah, Shagan breaks, and I think he just caught Tommy out, but that's one for the DC again.
Yeah, and I'm sure the DC will decide on that, as I will give an update on some of the people that have started from the back of the grid. It's 16th place at the moment from Jonathan Holmes. He's got past his teammate for that 16th position. He's actually coming under attack from Jeffrey Fournier. So these two, we know they're both very quick. They're both multiple podium sitters. In fact, a race winner in the seat of Fournier. Jonathan Holmes won at this track in 2014. So they're both quick drivers, starting a lot lower down that field than they should be, trying to make that progress up the field.
Oh, yeah, look at this. Remo Lewis. Remo Lewis has gone through into P14 here because Cam Bruce has had a bit of an accident. He's gone off, and Jonathan Holmes is into the points as well. But Bruce has been dumped out of the points, and Lewis is in 14th. Now on the back of Rob Mason.
Lowe's, though, is going to be under quite a bit of attack from Jonathan Holmes going into T1, so watch out for that. Purple first sector on the previous lap from Lindbergh. He did catch up a little bit, but then dropped off through the middle and final as Ruot set a purple final sector. But it seems like the fastest of the top, the two fastest of the top three is Ruot, and then it's James Johnson. As Jonathan Holmes is going to go down the inside of
straight down the inside there.
Yeah, Lowe's into T1. That's actually a fairly nice move. He's got to get these moves done and get up this order, as Jeffrey Fournier has also moved up to P17 ahead of Sam Jones. So more movement for him, as Ruot is actually now starting to pull away comfortably.
Johnson's had enough. James Johnson has, and Mike Quinn's going around the outside, but it hasn't worked out for him.
There'll be Quint that's had enough then, because Johnson was in fourth.
Oh, right, well, apologies then, but someone's had enough, and then I'm going to go back and see if that was indeed the case. Yeah, it was. No, Johnson went wide after he got past Quint. That was what happened.
Oh, okay, so he got past Quint and then went wide. Okay. Either way, Quint tried to hold it around the outside. It was going to be quite a good move, but didn't quite make it stick. And James Johnson up into third position and going to try and close up to the head of one of the more recent Formula Challenge race winners. In fact, the most recent new race winner in Formula Challenge, Johan Lindbergh, who's really starting to set that form here at the end of the season. Or midway point of the season.
He's really starting to get into his stride here, is Johan. You know, he's obviously winning race one last time. Then he's running second here. He's really starting to hit his form, so to speak, and could be one to watch for the future.
Absolutely. A positive future in Formula Challenge, hopefully, for him. I will also say another person that's setting some really good pace consistently, and hopefully this isn't jinxing it, as Purple First Sector has actually been flagged up from Philip Koenig, of all people, down in P9. So he's setting some decent paces. He's closing up to the back of Popolitis. But the other one that I was going to say was Naranyan Kumar, who's currently in 5th position and kind of closing up to the back of P4. So this is some really good pace from the Indian driver. Of course, it was his birthday a couple of days ago as well, wasn't it? I think it was yesterday, actually.
Yeah, it
was
was.
His birthday.
So happy belated birthday to Naranyan.
Absolutely.
And the P5 for his troubles is definitely doing well so far. He seems to, he just runs slightly by, but that's not terrible. Not to jinx it, touch wood, he is definitely being more consistent than usual.
Yeah, the trouble is with that T4, is, when running wide there, Purple First Sector from one of our new boys, Blynek, has set a Purple First Sector, so he's setting some decent pace at the moment, down in P12. But as Brett Metcalf has retired from the race, what was I going to say? I have no idea now. Oh yeah, T4. There's AstroTurf on the outside. You're better off, to be honest, if you're going to run wide, run much further wide than the AstroTurf. As Naranyan Kumar's, we did jinx it, didn't we?
Yeah, I did touch wood. Sorry, I did. So.
Oh well, he's still in the top 10.
I blame you, Lewis.
Okay, I will blame myself as well. Either way, he's still in P9, which is not terrible. So hopefully he can build himself back up. 2.7 seconds is the lead at the end of the fourth lap for Stefan Ruolt, so he's setting some decent pace, just clearing off into the distance really at the moment. As I will say, Johnson's not really catching up to the back of Lindbergh here. I know Johnson is looking after his tyres at the moment, which was an issue for Lindbergh at the previous round.
Oh, dear Terence Gregg has had a bit of an off in all this. He's dropping down and he's under threat from Malek here. Going for P11, doesn't get it though. But doing all right on his debut here is Malek in the Hinds Motorsport car. And speaking of Hinds Motorsport cars, so was Magnus Popolitis, P7 on his debut so far.
They're both doing really well. Mark Hutchinson,
I was going to say, while we're on the topic of people who are doing good on their debuts.
Mark Hutchinson, again, is another driver that's starting to build that mid-season form, as we were discussing with Quintin before the broadcast, who's team manager. Mark Hutchinson is really starting to find his form, especially when his teammate hasn't turned up for this round. It's a perfect time to do it, isn't it? To show that you're crucial for the team at the moment. As Jeffrey Fournier has been in the pit lane, I think. Yeah, I think he's been in the pit lane because he's really far down.
Yeah, he is.
But yes, the top, I say P2 to P4 are kind of closing up. This isn't the easiest track to overtake, but it's very, very possible to do so. It's kind of one of those ones where you don't want the car in front to have a draft, at which point, let's be honest, Lindbergh doesn't. And Johnson does. So there is a possibility, if he can keep close through that second sector, that Johnson could be lining himself up as a move into T1 a bit later on as Mike Quint does his PB lap of the race.
I was about to say, you have to deal with Mike Quint before you can do that. Because then
Absolutely.
you've got the Dutchman there, right behind him, threatening to take the position off him.
Yeah, Quint is doing a pretty good job to keep on the back. I mean, we know Quint's pace has been very good. Oh, Mlanek and Greg getting very close. I thought it was going to be a crash there, but nope.
Well, we don't want to see incidents.
No,
so it's a good thing that it wasn't.
We definitely don't. But yes, those two getting quite close. I think Greg's struggling for straight line speed. Don't make that mistake, Mlanek. No, careful. Just is braking on the curb on the inside of on the entrance to T4 on the right hand side. It's very, very easy to do. Was Povolitis, look at this, right on the back of Hutchinson through this middle sector.
Yeah, he's not far behind there. There could be on for P6 if he's lucky, the Lithuanian.
Well, P5 to be honest. Look at Batalo, who's not that far up the road.
Well, might be thinking a bit ahead of himself there, but obviously doing a good job here. Everyone's a little bit wide out of that turn there.
Yeah,
not quite
that
as good
front
as he's
left.
throwing him into the jaws of Connick. He'll want the top 7 for sure.
That front left through that final part, he went a little bit too far wide. We all know the rubbered in line in R Factor 2, and if you run a little bit too far wide, and you'll just completely overheat that tyre, and the hotter it gets, the harder it is to grip, and so he just drifted wider and wider and wider. Kept out of the wall nicely though, so that's always good, and he still holds P7. Current order though, it's Stefan Ruot by 3 seconds over Johan Lindbergh, who's slightly overcooked the entrance to T1 there, but he is coming under increasing form from James Johnson, increasing pressure rather, for P2, as he's made another mistake through turn 2. He's going to be able to keep this position as long as he doesn't mess up T4. Careful! Bit of contact there between the two of them, as there was a bit of the undercut there from Johnson, who's just on the curb. Oh, wow. That was a really nice move from Johnson there, up into P2. Not too sure about the contact. I'm sure that could be looked at after the race, but either way, Johnson up into P2, Johan Lindbergh into P3. Mike Quint closing up in P4, Edward Batala P5, Mark Hutchinson P6, Mantis Povolitis in P7, Philip Koenig in P8, Naranjan Kumar in 9th, and P10 for David Yunt. Rounds out your top 10 for this order at the moment. 12 laps to go though. And is anything more going to change? Can James Johnson get after Stefan Ruhr if he's been looking after those tyres a bit more?
Yeah, if he's been looking after the tyres, he'll have more to play with at the end, which means he can push harder and potentially close the gap to Ruhr, which stands at 3.5 seconds at the moment. And, well, Lindbergh Quinn is going on behind them, so as long as James can keep it nice and consistent and not fall too far high behind and get within Johann's reach, then he should be fine to keep saving those tyres. Then we've got this nice little battle for 5, 6 and 7 between Batala, Hutchinson and Povolitis, which is closing in. Though it's not a fight yet, it's something that could quite easily become a fight, although there is a fight on. Looking a bit for P8 directly behind them, because Naranjan Kumar, I think he's closing on Philip
He's
Koenig.
very much closing. Of course, was running up in the top 5 a bit earlier on in this race, so Naranjan has got that pace to move himself a bit further up. Slight mistake there through T1. Just caught the rear end a little bit in the braking zone. It wasn't too drastic, but it did hurt his drive off of that corner. So he's not going to make a move anywhere soon, but maybe over the next few laps, it's definitely someone we need to keep an eye on. Something about James Johnson, though, is he obviously is looking to move himself up the winners list, and he needs to keep taking race wins. I think he needs to take 5 more this year to take most overall wins in Formula Challenge, which is definitely something he wants to do to confirm himself as champion this year. So he needs to get after Stefan Ruwalt if he wants to do that. Of course, Stefan Ruwalt is looking for his first win since Monte Carlo earlier on in the year, and I know Mike Quint is closing up to the back of Johan Lindbergh, makes a bit of a mistake there through 11, but Quint will be looking for his second podium of the year, of course podium back in Montreal, and looking to get that second one. Has definitely got the pace to do so.
Yeah, I mean, we all know how good Mike Quintin is. Has shown his stuff since he come into Formula Challenge, and has really been impressive for certain. Just not that far off Lindbergh. So, he has really helped Basilea out here. They didn't have the best start of the season, and obviously with Quintin coming in, he's really started to help things get back on track for the Swiss outfit. And a couple of drivers setting their personal best laps on this lap. James Johnson just set a BPB, as has Lindbergh, as has Koenig, as has Greg, Lost and Bernard.
Junt and Kumar into T1, very, very close. Junt going for the undercut, but this isn't quite close enough as Kumar runs a little bit wide onto the AstroTurf. That's not going to help. But I don't think they're quite close enough. But David Junt's caught right up to the back of Kumar. As Koenig, I'm very confused with what I've just seen because I've been focusing on a different screen at the moment.
Yeah, behind you, Batala Hutchinson is closing up, so Hutchinson could be on for top 5.
Absolutely. Hutchinson's putting on some really
Yeah,
good
he's had
form
an
here.
absolute fly at this race.
3.7 seconds is the gap between the leads, so it's not coming down yet. 8 of the laps complete, coming up to halfway in this race. So plenty of time left to go, and credit to Lindbergh as well. He is keeping pace with Johnson at the moment decently, as it's just come down to 3.3 now, so 3 and a bit tenths in that middle sector alone.
Yeah, that's come down.
Yeah, Kumar's now once again, he's picked up his pace, just made a little bit of a mistake clearly, but he's now picked up his pace and closing right back up to Koenig, showing how much faster he is than the boys in front and how he probably should be in P5 without that mistake earlier on in this race.
Yeah, Pavlaitis on the back of this Vitala train now, and Koenig on the back of Pavlaitis, so it's starting to become a bit longer between the two of them. So, it's going to be an interesting to see how this goes with Vitala, Trella, Hutchinson, and then we've got 2 battles going on in the same space and track.
Absolutely. Greg's now right on the back of Junt,
he is.
P10, and it's 2.8 seconds, by the way, for the lead. So it is coming down quite a bit. It came down by 8 tenths on that lap.
I think now we're halfway in. Johnson's starting to put the hammer down a bit and starting to use the tyres.
He did say that he's got a stronger front end on his car, which means that obviously he's got less understeer, which means that it's not abusing them so much through that middle sector, which is the high point for the front end of the car. If you're running like more of a balanced car at the start of the race, you're going to start building that understeer as the race goes on. As Naranyan Kumar's made a mistake, and David Junt is going to get past here
Dear.
out of that chicane.
Oh, he's not.
Kumar's
Well,
going to try and hang tight around the outside. Oh, here comes Greg as well. Greg's on the marbles, so now he's going to run wide. Greg's going to lose a position to Malinek here. Oh, is he going to make the stick? Come on, mate. Come on, mate. Hold it.
Oh,
bit of contact.
yes, he is.
Bit of contact there. Bit too much squeezing from Malinek, but I
yeah.
don't think that's too bad. It's all right.
Not
Either
the
way,
worst
gets
move he
through.
can make.
Definitely not. It's a difficult place to start making moves, and I'd say, considering how far ahead Malinek was, I'd probably say Greg probably should have backed out of that one either way. So, either way, nice taking advantage there. Evidently not scared on his debut. Is Malinek as Jonathan Holmes. Bruno Ferreira, 15th place, has been round.
Tell you who else isn't scared, Mantis Pavlaitis. He's right on the back of Hutchinson now.
Is he going to go for a move?
Turn 1, he doesn't break soon enough, but he gets his nose in, and is he going to make the stick after?
That is
he
a
is.
nice move.
Does break soon enough. I got that completely wrong. I thought he hadn't, but he made it stick, does Mantas.
It's kind of like, Hutchinson's Koenig.
Yeah, under threat from Koenig. And there goes Batala. Well, that's going to promote Mantas in the top 5.
Is Batala's car okay? It seems okay.
Yeah, he's got.
So he's going to rejoin in P12.
He's got a front ring, actually. That's fine. He's okay to go on.
Pavlaitis, though, with that move, respect to Hutchinson as well for giving him room. It was like Pavlaitis looked for the move, started kind of going for it, and then went, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this stopped properly in time. Started to back out of it, at which point Hutchinson had gone, all right, I'll give him a bit of room. It was kind of like one of those, after you racing things. So,
and then eventually Mantas decided, well, I'm going through the door.
I'm going to hold the door. I'm going through. Really nice up at the P5 on debut, though. So fantastic stuff from him. 2.6 seconds. The gap between the two leaders as Stefan Ruolt is coming up to the back marker of Cameron Brewster. Definitely having a troublesome second third of the season here. Hopefully we'll be able to pick things up as we go into Spa, and then we'll have a summer break after Spa. We'll hopefully pick things up after that. After having a strong start to the year, as strong at this present moment in time.
Well, it's not really been the best race one for Cam. He is an extremely talented driver. We've seen that so far throughout his career and then this year especially. So maybe he's not having as good a race as he would like here, but hopefully he can get it back on track for race 2.
Yeah, I say he just needs to, as well, over the summer break, just take a few moments.
I've just seen Mantas go a bit wide there. This has let Hutchinson get right back within the shout of P5 again.
Hutchinson.
And don't forget Koenig is right on the back.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Hutchinson's biggest problem at the moment is he's not just got a car in front of him, he's also got the car behind him who's getting really close through T4. Oh
yeah, just
very
get a bit
close
close, but Philip knows where he is, knows how much he can brake, so he's not gonna like slam in the back of him.
Yeah, Koenig, as I've said previously, Koenig needs to be a bit careful. He's been involved in a few controversial moves this season, so just needs to be a bit cautious here.
Yeah.
Stay to, like the thing is through like a corner like T4 or through this section, you can't make a move on someone without them making a mistake. So give him a couple of car widths, a couple of car lengths. But
that's probably. I mean, he's a Formua race winner. He's got the pace.
Absolutely.
We know that. That was in the R-Factor 1 era. It is a bit of a difficult switch to R-Factor 2. And obviously, we're hoping everyone's adjusted by now. It's been out for a long time. So
sometimes the easy mistakes that don't happen often, right? Those like really simple ones, like following someone a bit too close. Those ones are a bit harder to learn because they're not consistent things that happen. It's not like locking up.
Yeah.
You learn how to not lock up pretty quick in RF2 because it's something that affects you drastically, instantly. So these are things that people will pick up, and that's kind of expected in the first year in RF2, as Hutchinson did look a little bit down the inside of Popolitis there into T1. Everyone else, Stefan Ruolt seems to be running about 1 to 1.2 seconds off of his PB pace. Meanwhile, James Johnson is running 1/10 off of his PB pace.
Yeah,
So,
that's what's the difference. That's why the gap's coming down, but I don't think it's coming down quickly enough. I think it's only coming down about a couple of tenths a lap.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think James Johnson also made a huge mistake in the first sector there because it was 1 and a bit. It was about 8/10 off of Ruolt's first sector, so problems there. Who's moving around there? It's Bernard. Bernard and Lowe's. Oh no. There's a bit of contact there into T2 as Lowe's, I think, has got some damage on that car as well over the bumps. It's all right, get off that racing line. Good man. Not sure what happened there. Not going to judge either. So, again, stuff for the DC to decide. Sorry, Rob. Have fun.
He's going to have a field day with this race.
Well, I mean...
Well, not necessarily. Not as much as other races have been in the past.
It's no Monaco, is it?
Yeah, it's no Monaco.
I mean, as long as we don't ever do that again, we'll be great.
Well, you say that, but if it can be done properly.
I mean, some of the racing we had back in Hockenheim.
Yeah.
Can we repeat some of that?
Yeah, have some of that, and that would be lovely. But yeah.
As currently down the order, I'll say Koenig looks pretty close to the back of Mark Hutchinson. I don't think he's quite close enough, but if he gets T1 right...
He's looking for
he's
it.
going to go for it. He's going to go for it. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, but I think he's going to back off here, and he's going to get the pace back. Or
Yeah,
time back,
they're both a bit lucky there. That's just kind of the kind of things that kind of needs to avoid those kind of moves.
It's
he was
not
never
easy
going
to learn, but
never. Those moves they're never going to work. You need to. It's people look right. You'll see this in Super Cup and stuff like that, and Super League. People will look for a corner and then brake a bit early because then what you're doing is you're enticing the car in front to look in their mirrors, not look at the braking points. They're looking in their mirrors. They're not focusing on what they're doing. They make a mistake, you go past. That's some of the ways you make moves. You force them into mistakes, not by diving it down the inside. Of course, it's an innocent mistake. Bit of a mistake here from Hutchinson. Speaking of, but not quite enough for Koenig to take advantage.
Yeah, he didn't quite get the move done there.
Sam Jones getting out of the way a bit poorly there as well, holding up Mlinek, who's under attack from Grech as well, P10 and P11.
Well, as someone who's a back marker myself, it can be difficult to get out of the way in a safe place sometimes.
In the middle sector, absolutely.
Yeah, it can be a bit difficult sometimes. The first thing, I know blue flags mean get out of the way, but, there's no use getting out of the way straight away. Sometimes you just have to find a safe spot and let them through then.
The worst thing for you to do is to see a blue flag and stop immediately, like, Cody's AI in F1 2015 that will get out of the way on the apex of a corner. Don't ever do that. That's the worst thing to do.
Just don't do it.
There's a thing, blue flags, general rule of thumb is 3 corners. If you've got blue flags, 3 corners, then get out of the way. You need to, really. But if there is nowhere safe, for example, like you're going through the swimming pool section at Monte Carlo. There isn't anywhere there that you can safely get out of the way. You need to wait until after it or before it. Sometimes it's very hard to put together, isn't it, though?
Yeah, it is. Sometimes it's not easy to find a place to let someone
No.
through. Luckily, I've never had incidents, I don't think, where I've been a backmarker and tagged somebody. I've always found a safe place to let them through. And especially if it's with me, especially if it's coming through the last couple of corners, I will always wait until the main straight.
Yeah. I know some people, as soon as they'll see blue flags, will freak out and throw it straight onto the grass and let them go. That is terrifying. Don't do that. Either way, it's a 2.6 second lead for Ruolt, and we'll quickly go through the top 10 as we are about to complete lap 15. And 3 laps to go. Stefan Ruolt has that 2.6 second lead. What is it at the line? 2.5 second lead. Can he hold on to it over the final 3 laps of this race? I would think that he can at this point. But that's Mike Quint in 3rd position. Johan Lindberg in 4th. Pavlaitis in 5th, doing a great job. Who's gapped Hutchinson by quite a bit here. 2.3 seconds, the gap between P5 and P6. Hutchinson about 8 tenths between himself and Koenig. David Junt in P8. Naranjan Kumar still in P9, not been able to make progress up the field. And on his debut as well, the teammate of Pavlaitis, it is Mlinek in P10.
Tell you what, Jonathan Holmes just set a purple last sector. So he's not fastest out of anyone in that sector there. And he's down in 13th, so must be finding some pace.
Yeah, again, this is the thing with Jono. He's obviously got the pace. He just needs to put it together and not have back of the good drop penalties, really.
Yeah, that would
green
be,
first, PB first sector for Philip Koenig at the moment, who is in P7, right behind Hutchinson. Can he put this together and make something of it?
Let's hope he can, because a P6 would be brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely would. 2.3 seconds of gap between the lead. We'll keep an eye on the gap. We don't have to keep an eye on the cars at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on that gap for you. But at the moment,
personal best split sector.
Oh, Koenig, careful! Careful, Koenig. Good lord.
I was about to say green sector 2s for Johnson and Quint. So they both went and gone faster than they have ever before in that sector.
2.2, that's not coming down enough. It's only come down by, it was a PB lap there for Johnson.
And
it was only 3 tenths quicker though than Ruolt, so that's not enough.
Yeah, Quint's just gone a PB lap as well.
Yeah, he did. It was actually a little bit quicker than Johnson's.
Yeah, almost identical in terms of time.
Absolutely.
That's how quick they are and close to each other they are. But yeah, that's not helped Koenig, that little mistake. David's still far enough behind not to really pose much of a threat though at the moment.
Absolutely. It's there's not too much of a threat, as you say, from behind. But speaking of Junt and threat, Junt has threat from behind in the form of Naranjan Kumar still, as long as he can put that move together. We've definitely got the pace to do it, as we've pointed out plenty of times previous, but he's just not managed to put those pieces together yet.
Yeah, he hasn't quite really worked out yet, unfortunately, but if Naranjan can get through on Junt, it'd be really quite significant. It would put him in a P8, but it'd be quite a personal success, I think.
Yeah,
taking someone as good as Junt.
He just made a mistake there out of the chicane. It's not cost him too much time, just probably a tenth or two. PB middle sector from Johan Lindberg, who's looking to secure himself P4.
Top 4, not bad for Johan. I mean, it's not quite the race when he got out last time, but still P4, very respectable.
Well,
I
was looking at some statistic, just because I love my fun fact as Kumar. Basically over the first 10 races of this year, the first 12 races of this year rather, Lindberg scored points on 4 occasions, with his highest finish being a 5th place at Spain. But recently, though, it was a 4th in the first race at Austria, and it was a 1st in the first race of Germany. He's currently running 4th in the first race here, so he's really starting to move that form. Definitely, though, what I would give him at this moment, maybe a little bit of a fight between himself and Mark Hutchinson for most improved driver over the year, when it comes to GPVWC Day at the end of the year. So hopefully they can keep this form together and make it a really tough decision on Will.
Yeah, that's not going to be easy at the end of it.
As long as he needs to keep that form.
Yeah, as long as they keep the form going, it's going to be a case of, well, they're in for that. But Stefan Ruhl, he
Yes.
just comes round here, is definitely in for a win. This is the last lap, obviously, and
It is.
coming in the last couple of corners, it's going to be another just success story.
Absolutely. Of course, he took a race win in a season before this, but it's been 4 race wins so far this season. In fact, he's done 3 in a row. Earlier on in the year, from Turkey to the second race of Monte Carlo. But out of the final corner now at Hungaroring, it's Stefan Ruhl take the first victory of the evening from pole position. His first race win since Monte Carlo. Stefan Ruhl is victorious.
Lindbergh's got round in the last turn, and he's not going to drop position, or is he? He's not going to drop a position.
No, he's not going to drop a position. Thank God for that.
He's went round. That scared us.
James Johnson, though, second position. Mike Quintin third. Johan Lindbergh scaring the life out of all of us. Making a mistake at a point when he, it didn't cost him anything. Hopefully it's woken him up for race 2. Scores a 4th position. Povolitis in 5th position. Fantastic result from him. Hutchinson in 6th. Koenig 7th. Yunt 8th. Kumar 9th. Mlynek 10th. Grek 11th. Again, he needs to put that form together consistently. He's got 2 race wins to his name. 11th isn't really good enough. It's Batala in 12th after a spin earlier on in the race, running in the top 5 a bit earlier. Jonathan Holmes, previous race winner at this circuit, down in 13th. Randy Muru in 14th, and Rob Mason rounding out your points scoring positions. What do you think of that race, Mr. Anderson?
Well, I got the winner, right? There's one. So, well done, Stefan. Very impressed by Povolitis and Hutchinson. Let's not forget about Hutchinson. If I had to give driver of the day to anybody, it would probably be Mantas, actually, because, yeah, he's newer and Mark did as good, but Mantas, on debut, 5th.
Absolutely. That's where I'd go as well, not going to lie. That's an
driver of the
impressive
race,
drive.
rather, because the day hasn't been decided yet. There's still another race.
No, but that is credit to him. That is a very, very good drive.
Yeah, P5 on debut. He's probably got a lot of people interested now. But then again, they can't really hire him from HIDS because, well, driver swaps aren't allowed in Formula Challenge.
Either way, a good race there, and hopefully a good race ahead of us a bit later on as we will prepare to move over. And the drivers will take probably about a 10 to 12-minute break, I believe it is. From here, and we'll discuss the reverse grid a bit later on. And hopefully an interesting race ahead of us. I'm not sure who, because this has actually been this has been a theme of recent time that apart from the previous round, it's normally actually been the winner of race 1 that's gone on to see race 2. Now, knowing how difficult it is to overtake around the circuit, do you see that being a thing at this track? Because I certainly don't.
Well, it's not easy to overtake here, definitely not. But with the reverse grid, it might make things slightly spicy.
Yeah, no, I'm very intrigued just to see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
No, I don't know who's going to win, but I'm sure we will wait and see.
It kind of depends on who finishes where, well, or who gets where in quali.
Yeah, we'll wait to hear back for the reverse grid from Chris when we have the time. But until then, we will go to an Aurora Designs guide for the next couple of minutes, and then we will join you after that. Welcome to the Aurora Designs track guide to take us through the 11th round of the GPVWC Formula Challenge season. We are here at the legendary Hungaroring circuit. This track's got 3 very unique sectors. You need a car which can handle a bit of straight line speed down the start-finish straight, but most importantly will have enough downforce to take it through that central section of the track where you've got some high-speed corners left and right, and of course the suspension grip for the lower speed corners. To take us through this track, it will be Johan Lindbergh of YTF1, the previous race winner at Hockenheim. So on board with Johan Lindbergh around the Hungaroring, here we go then down towards the start-finish line, and on the start-finish straight you've got to make sure you're getting the right run out of turn 14 as it will leave you wide open into turn 1 onto the brakes. You brake just after the 100 metre board and hold them quite hard. Make sure you're not locking up the fronts as that will give you much more tyre wear. Make sure you get a clean run out of the corner as you're preparing for this off-cambered left-hander. It's a very difficult corner. The front end always wants to push you to the outside of the circuit, as does the one through this right-hander of turn 4 as well. Here you've got to watch out for the curb on the outside. It's a very high curb. But now we run up towards turn 4. It's a very difficult corner. It's blind on entrance. You've got to pick up your turning points from the outside of the track. Find something to judge that correct turning point every single lap. And you've got to watch out for the curve on the inside and the outside. Through 5 and then into this slow speed chicane. It's so slow in comparison to the rest of the circuit. You've got to watch out for the big sausage curbs because they will rotate the car. As is with most of the curbs around this part of the track, they're very high. This is where you need the high downforce. When you're following other drivers, you're going to pick up a lot of dirty air. You aren't going to see many overtaking opportunities through that section of the track. Very easy to run wide there out of turn 11 and then breaking down to turn 12. This is not a great overtaking opportunity. As much as it's a slow corner, a nice braking zone, it's a lot tighter than it looks. Now we go through turn 13. It's a very, very slow corner. It's much slower than it looks. And then into turn 14. Another one where you've got to just be so patient. As you see, losing the rear end there, it's very easy to just slide out of that corner and that'll leave you open down to T1, and that there is a lap of the Hungary ring. Welcome back to Formula Challenge, and we are ready for race 2. The warm-up session will begin between the two. And we have yet to get a number for where we are going to reverse the grid. 5 minutes of practice to go. And the tyre wear was actually not as extreme as we thought it would be.
No, it wasn't a slight surprise on that front. But hopefully we can see that that's not the case again in this race as well. So, it wasn't as much of a problem as we thought, but obviously, it can change per race, and they're not careful. I mean, it's 31 degrees on track, so that's quite hot.
It's pretty hot.
So, it could be a problem. If we got reverse grid number in as well. That is position number 12, so that means that it's Edward Battala on pole.
Excellent. Now, we know he's got good pace.
Yeah, but it's just, can he string it together and get a good result out of it?
Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there?
Yeah, ultimately.
By trying.
Yeah.
It will mean that the order I will quickly go through, although that's not correct, because if P12 Battala, there's something gone wrong with the results that I presently have, but it'll be something along the lines of Battala, Grek, Mlynek. There's someone missing. I just don't know who it is. But yeah, Kumar, Yunt, Koenig, Hutchinson. It's Povolatis who's missing. So he'll obviously be a bit higher up. And then it'll be Lindberg, Quint, Jonsson, and Ruolt. So Ruolt starting from P12, I struggle to see him winning from there, if I'm honest. Although he did win around Monte Carlo both races, so let's not put him past him, shall we? But yeah, the previous rounds, Monte Carlo, Canada, Britain and Austria both had the same race winner in race 1 as it did in race 2. So, possibilities of an occurrence here? Maybe. Will James Johnson not like the fact that he's finished second 3 times in a row? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Might be, might not be, but we'll have to see. Ultimately.
Well, either way, we can have a look at the championship standings after race 1 this evening, and it's James Johnson that will continue to lead this championship. In fact, at this point, he could not appear for the next 4 races and still probably lead the championship, so that's how big a lead he's got at the moment. 363 points to his name. He is aiming to get over 100 clear of Ruolt before the summer break at the end of next round, so we'll see if that's going to be a possibility. It's Stefan Ruolt in that second position, who has very much secured it ahead of Jonathan Holmes. They were in a bit of a fight over that second position earlier on in the championship, but has definitely secured that now with a win compared to Jonathan Holmes' 13th position. And then it's Carlos Fernandez, who isn't here in 4th position, ahead of Jeffrey Fournier, who didn't score in that race, ahead of Terence Grek, who did score in that race. Only 11th position though, so only 5 points. but there's only 1 point between those two. So Terence Grech possibly looking to move up into 6th position a bit later on. Matthew Churgwin and Cameron Brewster, not good races for the two of them, down in 7th and 8th position, hopefully putting it together a decent race too. And it's Randu Muru in 9th, and Johan Lindberg, who secured himself in the top 10 at the moment with that P4, and hopefully he can put together a race 2 here. He struggled with race 2 back in Germany though, which is a bit of a concern. He only finished 16th. It's kind of one of those ones where you've taken a race win and it's kind of like, I don't care about race 2 very much anymore. I've done what I needed to do this evening. Whereas only this time it's been P4, so maybe there will be a bit of moving up the order.
Yeah, perhaps there will be. With the reverse grid, it might make it more likely, but who knows?
The perfect place to learn your craft, isn't it, as a race 2?
It is.
For a faster driver that's been moved back in the pack, as long as the DC are being harsh, so pointing out where people are making errors and giving them a penalty for it, as we are presently getting with the DC, it's a really good way for a fast driver to learn a bit of racecraft, to learn patience, to learn not throwing it down the inside from 15 kilometers back,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I've just seen as well with James Johnson. I'm not sure how many races it is in a row. I think it is. I think it's like 15 races in a row.
Yeah.
Or 14 races in a row. He's finished on the podium with the exception of 2 occasions. That's impressive.
It is impressive.
And one of them was when he got intentionally wrecked by Nikolai at Monte Carlo. So that is why he's got such a large lead in this championship. So yeah.
That's impressive, isn't it, ultimately?
Very much so.
Really has stood out.
Either way, considering the reverse grid order, I'm not sure if you would like to take a hit at the moment as to who do you think will take this win, but I'm still going to ask anyway.
I'll still wait till the formation lap.
Okay. I honestly no. I feel I personally feel Grech, who will start fairly high up in the race. I think he should start on the front row. Grech, obviously, race winner back in Hockenheim, race winner back in Bahrain, so he knows how to win a race. Possibilities of Grech going on to take a 3rd race win of the season. I believe the 4th race win of his career, because I think he's only had 1 before this, back in Austin in 2014. Off the top of my head.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Which is not a reliable thing, let's be honest. Brains are not reliable, people.
Yeah.
No rain in the
mine
area.
seems to have turned off.
Your brain?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right. It'll light up in a minute when we see some racing.
Yeah. Hope it does.
Well, you've got Koenig starting from an all right position, so you've got your team to support, mate.
Yeah, well, that's totally being biased, though.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Either way, it is time for race 2. And we are getting ready for the second race of the evening around here at the Hungaroring. I've been told it was correct that this would be the 4th race win for Terence Grech. So that's good. I'm right. My brain is reliable. But it is Eduard Batala who will lead the order around for SDev, which is great for him. He had the pace in race 1 to hold about 5th position for a while, made a bit of a mistake and lost that position. But either way, it's P1 for him at the moment, so redemption for him. Terence Grech in P2, Mlanek in P3, and hopefully to take advantage of that for Hinz on their debut. Then it's Naranjan Kumar in P4, David Yunt in P5, Philip Koenig in P6, Mark Hutchinson in P7, having a good evening so far, hopefully to convert this into another decent result. Mantas Politis in P8, and it's Johan Lindberg in P9, and Mike Quint, another podium to his name this season. it starts from P10. James Johnson and Stefan Ruolt, your two main championship protagonists. Actually, in fact, it's your three main championship protagonists, P11, P12 and P13. As Jonathan Holmes is also in 13th position. So they're nicely in championship order as well. How cute. Randy Muru in 14th and Rob Mason, another point scoring finish for him in race 1, down in 15th position. That's Michael Bernard in 16th, making his way up the order after a reverse, after a back of the grid drop. It's Ramo Lowe's in P17. God, sorry, I have to remember how to pronounce it a lot. Then it's Jeffrey Fournier in P18. Maybe not the best result for him. He needs to make a bit more progress up that order. I think he had to pit, though, which would be why he finished so low. Bruno Sousa Ferreira in P19. Matthew Churgwin, Sam Jones, Ben Willis, P20 to P22. Then it's Cameron Brewster in P23. And then it's Timo Cabrera, bringing up the back of the order after that early retirement. The instant between himself and Matthew Churgwin down into the corner they're coming up to now. So hopefully there will not be a repeat of that. Now you have the order in front of you, Mr. Anderson. Who do you feel is going to take this race win?
You know what? You said you were going to go for Greg. I'd be inclined to agree, but I am going to say, I'm going to say Yunt.
You're going to say Yunt.
I'm going to say Yunt. Yeah.
Interesting.
I just have a feeling he's next best. Take the win.
Of course, has had decent pace before, led a lot of laps back in Monte Carlo. So we'll see if that will translate. Another person that is in a good position, as long as he can keep that consistency alive, is Naranyan Kumar, starting from P4. However, all of the cars in order on the grid, and the lights start coming on here for the second race here at the Hungaroring. The 11th round of the season is go again, and it is Edouard Battala who's getting a good launch off the line. Linek, I'd say, actually has the best start of the top three. He's going to be on the outside of Terence Grek. It's T1. Grek is closing up on the back of Battala into the first corner as Battala's closing up. Oh, a bit of contact there from Kumar and Grek, who's just dropping back down the order. Battala leads out of T1. Linek up into second position. A fantastic move. David Yunt into P4, who's under attack from Philip Koenig. Down into the second corner as they're side by side. Back in the pack as well. Naranyan Kumar's defending a bit from Pavlaitis, as Hutchinson as well, defending from Johnson, who's made his way around the outside at T2 and the inside of T3. That's a great move from Johnson up into P4, as Hutchinson's also under attack now from Lindberg and Ruolt and Holmes. Lindberg gets past, Ruolt doesn't, so they are going to stay in line. But it's currently Battala who is under the pressure at the moment from Linek and Grek, who is looking very, very pacey at the moment.
Yeah, Greg seems to have come alive here in race 2. It seems to be a good start from all of the top 5. Kumar only really drops 1 position, 2 positions. So, almost runs to the back of Koenig there, but, he's doing a decent job, isn't he, right now? Just see if he can keep it up as we got someone going down. That's Pavlaitis. Pavlaitis has gone round and down, and that is not good.
Oh, no. After such a good race 1, that's such a shame. Either way, I'm sure that'll be looked at later on. I will say Whoopke has said that Linek is going to win this race, mark my words, and he is currently in P2, and to be honest, had the best start of the top 3 in my opinion. So he is looking pretty good for it at the moment, and is just a little bit too far off the back of Battala to make a move into T1, I think. But either way, it's a really great debut from the Hinds Motorsports driver.
Well, I wouldn't put it past him. He's certainly impressed enough for this opening lap to stand a chance, but anyone on that top 5 is realistically in with it at the moment.
See if they can keep ahead of the likes of James Johnson and Stefan Ruolt. Ruolt's into P10 at the moment, but James Johnson is in P7 and is not far off the back of Naranyan Kumar. He's definitely closing up to the back of him.
He is, yes. He's closing up. But then again, these top guys in the top position at the moment are still quite competitive, so won't have an easy job, Will Johnson.
There's a little bit of a battle there in T5 for P1. Grek, though, is going to be looking down the inside to T6. He is going to go for it. Nice little... he backs out of it nicely, but there were side-by-side between Battala and Linek, so there is competition here at the front of the order. 3.5 tenths separates the two of them. At the Sector 2 split, Terence Grek, though, just dropping a little bit further back.
Yeah, got a little bit close between Kumar and Johnson there. It is still close between the two of them.
History between the two.
Ahead, James is not going to be able to get through easily.
There's history between the two of Kumar and Johnson going back to Montreal. And yeah, so Johnson's going to be looking down the inside here at the second to last corner as he's not quite got past Kumar at the moment.
I think it's too bunched up for him to do anything at the moment.
Yeah.
Because he's got the threat of taking Koenig out ahead if he goes right to turn 1.
Keep an eye on Mlinek, though, who's coming down the start-finish straight now behind Batala. I don't think he's close enough. He just needs to nail that final corner. It's so very important at this point in the race for him to absolutely nail that final corner, because he did close up a lot as Pavlaitis is out of the race, his teammate. So that's very unfortunate, but a great race one and some serious potential from Pavlaitis.
Yep, indeed. I think we're going to be seeing more of him in the future for sure, up in the good places, as Johnson still tries. I think at the moment it is just too crowded for him to try and have a serious go at Kumar. He's going to have to wait until either Connor gets further ahead or Kumar drops him further behind it. Johnson goes well wide through there. So, has not had a good run through that turn as he would have liked.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do as long as you're not gaining advantage, though. The DC will not take a poor look on it. But yeah, he is right on the back of Kumar, and it is absolutely what you need. He needs Kumar. Oh, Konig's very slow through this SS section.
Yeah, just made a slight clip on the curve there. Might have lost some speed. Kumar doesn't quite have the track leverage to go with it, though. Now
Kumar's
he's
made a mistake here.
Wide. Johnson's going to have a chance here.
This is a very tight corner, though.
It's
a very tight corner, though. We were talking about this on the track guide. It's not the best place to make a move. It's so tight on the inside. He's not going to be the outside of the second to last corner. This isn't going to be... Is he going to make it move, stick around here?
Still there. Kumar's still there, and he's got it. Well held.
It's not the best place to make a move on the outside there. There's just not enough grip, as Kumar's lagging a bit all over the place. But either way, I think Johnson's got this now. Look at this run out of the final corner. He's going to be looking down the inside of T1 here for P6.
Oh no, Kumar goes down the outside.
Gone defensive.
Again.
He's overcooked the braking. Here's Kumar. Yeah. That was kind of obvious. As soon as Kumar had started braking, it was kind of obvious that it was a bit too late. Johnson gets the cutback, goes down the inside. A man of his experience should obviously know that, and he'll now close up to the back of Philip Koenig for P5.
Yeah, but his prerogative is going to be catching up to Yunt, so that it makes the move harder for Johnson.
Absolutely, as Mlinek goes wide at T4. But Mlinek seems to be really, really good at the first sector, but struggles when Batala takes the air off the front end of that car through this middle sector. Batala's doing a really good job of dealing with this pressure, though.
He is, yeah. He's doing a fantastic job. He's doing a great job, and dare I say, an Estev win?
Oh, dare you say?
Dare I say, yes. It could happen if he can hold on well enough, but he'd have to do some serious defending if things go James Johnson's way. He is not far off the back of Koenig now, but Koenig is closing on Junt, so this could help the German, because if he's close enough to the Swiss, then Johnson won't be able to go for a move, as we lose Remo Loos from the race. He was in the points there or thereabouts, but he seems to have dropped out, so might have had a mistake.
Again, some decent pace shown from Remo, so hopefully he'll put that consistency together and build on it for the next round. Batala's doing a really good job at this final corner. He's basically going in quite wide and then going for a later apex, but this time it may not have worked. Mlinek might have been too close. He's going defensive into T1. Can Mlinek do anything about it? I don't think he can. I think he's just waiting for it, but Batala's doing everything he can to keep the Hinds Motorsports driver behind him. Batala's not done many rounds in this championship. He started it back in Montreal. His highest finish so far this season is only a 12th position, so this is a big run for him. Of course, he was running really high back in Austria, but this is a really good opportunity for him to build on his current season.
Yep, a great chance in the race win would we obviously be the pinnacle, but, probably just looking for a top 5, to be honest with you. So, I mean, sometimes you get that when you haven't had as good a season, you would take a top 5, but if you can have the pace to lead, you should lead.
Absolutely.
You might have race lead and pace, and he's just never showed it this so far.
It's a great experience. Of course, he was my teammate a little while ago, actually. Last year at Spain, he was my teammate and showed some really, really solid pace back then. So it's no real surprise that he's up here in a decent position. Koenig hit the wall.
Then loses it. That's going to give Johnson the place easily.
Oh.
But Kumar gets through too, but Lindbergh... Whoa,
mistake there from Johnson. Mistake there from Johnson.
Oh dear.
After all that work to get past Kumar. Oh, that's a naughty defensive move there. That's a naughty defensive move there from Kumar, but either way, Kumar gets back past Johnson for P5 as Koenig dropped back. I'm actually surprised that car's not written off.
No, he only clouded the wall slightly, so he's not really damaged it at all.
It was a pretty big hit at high speed, though. You built those Cosmo cars strong.
It was quite a shallow angle, though, was the thing, so he's not going to cause damage to be done, really.
Oh,
and he's not going to go down on the outside of both. Oh, contact with Kumar. think he tried to look down the outside of both of them. That would have been brave, but it didn't work out.
I think it was
He's
when
gonna have to try and
Kumar.
get past Kumar now, but
I think it was when Kumar moved back over that caught Koenig out because he'd committed to going down the outside. Kumar then moved back over and he was kind of like, well, I've already started braking, so.
yeah, I think you're only allowed to do one move as well.
You are
so-
only allowed. You're allowed to move back towards the racing line, but you must give a car width for that kind of stuff. You shouldn't be moving in braking zones. It's not a thing. Oh no, Koenig, no.
Oh no! But he went wide. He'd gone wide.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that incident with Kumar put him off slightly. Put him out of his
No,
rhythm.
no.
He went off. He'd gotten a little bit close to Kumar, and then he'd gone off. And then the next turn, he just come in too hard. The car slid, and
Oh no, it's okay. Malik just ran a little bit wide through the SSX. You dropped back a little bit from Batala. It's gone from half a second to an entire second. So he's dropped back more into the clutches of Grek, who has actually started gapping Yunt, but that won't help. What's just happened?
it won't help. No.
But yeah, you must build those cars strong at Cosmo for a smash like that to be okay.
Oh yeah, we've got the best in materials.
Yeah, you buff them up and stuff.
Yeah, just buff themselves up.
Use a bit of made out of lead.
Well, oh come
Lead-
on. That's like, but they'd be faster.
Well,
Why are they so fast if they're made of lead?
yeah. Well, I mean, actually, you could just use Mercy from Overwatch to like buff all their stats. There's Rualt on the inside of Kumar at T1. That's actually a really nice move. He's going to be outside of T2 though. As he goes through this kink, he's going to be ahead. Kumar's going to have the inside line braking wise. There's going to be a bit of contact. Yes, there is.
Oh no.
Again, not for me to judge. A bit of contact there between him and Quint as he kind of turns across at T4. Quint's going to come under attack from Hutchinson up towards T4. Sorry, it's T3. Bit of contact between Quint and Hutchinson. Quint gets back past. Not a bad little move. Unfortunately, the wheel banging is a bit unnecessary, but I'm sure the DC will take a little bit of a look there between the instance of Rualt, Kumar and Quint as Jeffrey Fournier has joined the chat on the broadcast after he's retired from this race. Linex also closed right off the back of Batala again. It actually was down to 3/10 at the end of the first sector, so some serious pace back on the wheels of that Hens Motorsports car.
Yeah, I mean, good to see.
He needs to focus on looking after the tyres, though. We know that needs to be your prerogative at this point in the race. It's to not push too hard. It's just to look after the tyres, which is what people like Johnson will be doing in P5, ready to take advantage at any moment.
What you got to do ultimately.
Absolutely. They're not close enough at the lead for any moves. I think any of the top five really are. The current lead is Batala from Linek, from Grek, from Yunt, from Johnson, from Rualt, from Lindbergh, Kumar, Quint and Holmes, rounding out your top 10. Philip Koenig, just as an update to him, as he spins again at T1 in front of his teammate.
This is his teammate. That's the thing about Philip. He seems to have good pace, but he seems to be quite easily put off by mistakes.
One mistake is joined by another one. Is joined by another one
because he gets put out of his rhythm, and obviously the tyres won't be as easy to manage as well. So he's all twitchy here now. So he kind of, once he gets into a rhythm, he's really good. But if someone makes a mistake or someone taps him and that puts him out of his rhythm, it can be a bit of a struggle to get back up again.
Yeah, it's an easy track to make a mistake at. Is the Hungary ring? There's lots of corners of varying speed. Grek and Linek very, very close at the moment. Grek right on the back of him as he's going to run a little bit wide here, but no going. Is Grek going to look down the inside? Yes, he is.
Oh, he is. This is close, almost too close, but manages
at
to
least,
avoid it.
in my opinion, those moves shouldn't be able to be like, if you've exceeded a previous corner, you can't then go for a move at the next one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That shouldn't be a thing, especially if you've through a corner like that, you've gained an advantage because you've been in the dirty air and you've kept your foot in. So I don't think that should be a thing. Either way, Greg stayed behind. There's been no contact between the two, so no harm, no foul.
Yeah. Mind you, purple second sector here from Stefan Ruel. So he's on the charges. Oh, look at this Johnson. Through on John, but completely missed that.
Yeah, it's just happened at T1 there. So Johnson in that fourth position. You're saying about Ruel. Remember what I said, what the current theme of Formula Challenge had been, with the exception of the previous round since Monaco, was that the winner of race 1 had gone on to win race 2 as well.
Can
Ruel win this race? We've got 8 laps complete. There's 10 laps to go. You wouldn't put
Jim
it
goes
past him, would
wide.
you?
You wouldn't know. It's still on. There's half the race to go.
2.2
impossible.
seconds to the lead as well.
But he has got 5 cars to get past. One of
He
which
does.
is Edouard Battala, who's still leading.
I'd say one of which, most importantly, is James Johnson, who will not be an easy driver to pass.
Especially
all
if
of
he
his
can get up to that
experience.
sort of second place buffer before. But then again, Greg's doing a good job of staying in front at the moment, and this could play brilliantly
Connick
into
DNF'd.
Yep, we got Connick out. I guess he's just had enough at the end. I do not blame him. But Battala and Linek, these two will be laughing their socks off at the fact that Greg is still holding up Johnson.
Absolutely.
They'll be thinking we could have 1 and 2 here.
Absolutely. Mlynek and Battala both need Greg to stay there. Someone of Greg's experience to hold back the likes of
think it was
Johnson,
possible?
the likes of Ruolt. Ruolt, though, he will also be happy that Johnson is being held up by Greg, because the only real way that Ruolt is going to get past Johnson is in this pack. If Johnson gets through into the lead, Johnson will be gone.
The neck, having to go on Battala. He went a little bit wide.
They're going to be
He's
side
on
by
the
side in
outside. This is
T2.
not going to be easy. He's going to have to earn this one.
Careful the contact,
between
no!
the two, and that's a disaster.
Oh, no.
And Battala's then got forward too early, and then he's collected, I think that was Lindbergh who he collected this hammock
was.
down at turn 2. And
It was.
Battala,
He's done it again.
almost collects the eval as well. But it was definitely a bit of an unsafe rejoin from Battala. What had happened was he'd gone down, and he was going a bit, I think he was going a bit right. Didn't
he
correct
was.
that into Mlynek. Then had a bit of an unsafe rejoin. He was on the track. He should have gone backwards, not forwards into Lindbergh. But that's definitely for the DC to decide. But such a shame that he was doing so well, and then one mistake ruins it.
Yeah, as I say, my opinion on the first time I saw that incident was Battala was moving right onto Mlynek's line. Again,
That
for the
has hit
DC
him now.
to
He's down
decide.
to P5.
For the DC to decide, Mlynek is down to 5th position, as you say, with
Yeah,
Rex tyres, though.
has James Johnson just been gifted the win through that?
Yes, he has, because he's just moved up into P1.
Or the lead, rather.
He's
Some
just
could
moved up
argue it's
into
not
P1.
deserved, but he took advantage of a situation that occurred.
Yeah, he's up into the lead now. Is James Johnson. He made a nice little move on Greg there into the final little complex of corners and into the lead, and he will run away now. This win, unless he makes a mistake, should be James Johnson's. The only man that
Then again, Ruolt could stop that if he can get enough ground made.
But he needs to get past 2 drivers in the time that James Johnson's got clear space,
Not
which I just don't see
impossible.
happening.
It's not
I just
impossible.
don't see it happening. Especially
well,
considering
we'll disagree on that one then.
most importantly with Ruolt as well was that Ruolt's pace at the end of race 1 was not as strong as Johnson's. That is a very important feature, especially now that Johnson has got clear air.
We'll agree to disagree there. I think he can do it, but it's going to be a bit difficult.
I think Johnson's on for a win here. Greg, though, we know he's not exactly slow, so we'll try and keep up. I don't think he'll be able to get back past. The current top 10 order, as it's all been chopped and changed around, is Johnson, Greg, Yunt, Ruolt, Mlynek, Holmes, Kumar, Hutchinson, Quint, and Lindbergh. Lindbergh, who was doing a really good job up until that incident. Not that that was his fault, that's not what I mean here. But he was running in about 7th position, which, considering he won the last race and then finished 16th in race 2, to say that he finished 4th, bit of a nice little drift there, going full like Carlos Sainz style there with a bit of rally driving. But this is a much stronger race too, even though he's only in 10th at the moment, through no fault of his own. Bob Battala is actually still in the points as well. He's down in 14th position. It's Rob Mason, Muru, Cabrera, Battala and Ferreira who rounds out the points-paying positions. And then it's the 2 Drake Racing drivers in 16th and 17th. So looking for some points after a really disappointing race 1.
Yeah, will do. And Stefan Ruolt is up in the P3, as we see there. And not far now, just 2 seconds from Johnson. He does have to catch and pass Greg first, but there are still 7 laps to go this race.
Yep, there is time, but 2 seconds to Johnson. Can he do it? I know you are of the belief that he can. I'm the belief that he can't. So we're very
Greg goes
divided on
wide.
that.
Greg goes
Battala
wide,
is
he's
out of the
gonna
race.
head him. Battala is out, yeah.
It's a shame for him.
But Greg just did go a little bit wide there. Not necessarily saying he's starting to make lots of mistakes, but maybe just getting a bit wide, which is not what he wanted to do. Won't be really feeling the pressure, although I think the gap to Johnson is going up. So And similarly, the gap to Ruolt is coming down. I'm getting my drivers mixed up there.
As you do. I think Mlinek might be able to get P4 here.
He could, theoretically. And the gap to Greg's come right down for Ruolt. Is going to go into the second to last corner and gets it.
Same move that Johnson
Now
made.
it's just a straight fight between the two.
I'm still of my firm belief that Johnson's going to win this race.
Well, all he has to do now, Ruolt, is there's 6 laps to go now, isn't there?
Yeah, 6 laps to go. All he has to do is catch one of the fastest people on this field
Well,
and
yeah.
get past.
Then again, he's just set the fastest lap of the race. 1:31 dead.
Touche is all I can say to that. Touche.
He's just set the fastest lap of the race. He's gained 0.3. He'd probably have... Well, it's 1.6 is the gap now. With
Ooh.
6 to go, he's probably only going to get about 3/10 to 4/10 a lap and then overtake.
If he can overtake.
Oh, we'll see.
We will see. There is a race on for the lead, and will we see an exciting finish to this race here? As a bit of moving back in the field, not really sure. Oh, it's Kumar. Kumar's down in 15th.
Oh, dear.
This is not a good race for Estev.
This will be a bit of a relief.
Not a good race for Estev, though, is it? Unfortunately.
No. Well, it's looking to be, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Luckily though, Cameron Brewster has managed to scrape a point out of all this. A bit of anything, a slight consolation for the Englishman, even though he's not had the best of races this time around. Johnson goes a personal best, sector 2, but Ruolt goes one better and goes purple.
Yeah, that's a really good middle sector. They've gone... Ruolt's is half a second faster than Greg's behind.
Wow. That's just showing how quickly he's pulling away. Gap was 1.4 or something seconds on the previous lap. As they come out to start this next lap, it's 1.1. And a new personal best and fastest lap from Ruolt again, 1:37. That was half a second quicker, so he's on form.
It's a very good lap there from Ruolt. He is determined to take this other race win, this 2 race wins in a row. Maybe he can get onto that streak and take that 3 again, like he did earlier on in the season.
Then surpass it and get 4.
We will wait and see. One person on the field already has 4 race wins in a row, and we know that streak has been also done by one other driver previous, being Peter Burlack. So will we get 2 drivers doing it this season? Will it be Stefan Ruolt taking 4 race wins in a row? Of course, he'd have to take this one and then 2 others after it, so that's a bit steep and very early to tell. But this lead now is within 1 second.
It is. It's not far. He is closing, and we could at least have a battle on our hands.
Hopefully a very exciting one as well. Currently it's 2.2 seconds between Mlinek and Yunt, so I don't see that actually changing now. Yunt doing a good job to hold on to 4th position. That would be good points for Scuderia Basilia, especially considering it's him in 4th and Mike Quint in 7th. So it's good points for Basilia. For that team, Johan Lindberg up into 8th position. A really strong race 2 as well, considering he finished 4th in race 1. That's, I'm sure, will be well appreciated by Allington.
Will do, yeah, absolutely. Coming on this last corner, though.
Oh, that's half a second, that is.
Half put 6, 7,
6/10.
4. Not again, not a fastest up from Ruolt this time, but he's still, importantly, 4/10 quicker than Johnson. That's the important bit. How quick is he versus Johnson?
Bit of traffic coming up in the hands of Sam Jones.
Now this will help Stefan. If anything's going to help, it'll be this.
Absolutely. Not long left to go in this race. 4 laps to go. Can Stefan Ruolt take the lead here at Hungary?
Starting to look more of a possibility than it was a couple of
He's
years
not
ago.
got too many. Not got too many chances with it being 4 laps to go. We've already gone through T1, which is the main overtaking opportunity on this track. He's only got 3 more real solid attempts here. There's a bit of crash somewhere. I've just heard. It's Chergwin, I think. Yeah, Chergwin, Cabret, Brewster as well. I think Chergwin's the only real one affected from this. Oh no, Cabret's lost a front wing, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's no front wing for Cabret.
Oh dear. Well, that makes 2 races from 2 where something has gone wrong for the Spaniard. Oh, he does still have his front wing, according to me. But...
No, he definitely hasn't got one. Definitely 100%
Well, now
doesn't.
it's just gone, yeah. Let's just see what happened there. I'm going to go back on the replay.
Well, whilst you check back on that replay, Sam Jones is getting in the way a bit here, as Johnson and Ruolt were separated by 3/10 of that sector. It's going to be very close crossing the start-finish line and down into turn one again. 3 chances to go. Here is the first of the 3. Can anything be done? I think there is too much between the two of them at the moment.
Well, all he can do is close up. There was a 10th between them last lap, and a 10th gained is a 10th gained at the end of the day.
But this is where it gets
He is going to
difficult.
start running out of time.
This is where it gets difficult. You start running out of time. Also, you're right on the back of them now. You're starting to pick up that dirty air on the front end of the car. I know it's been reduced since the first round of the season, but it's still quite an extreme feature here in R Factor 2 is the dirty air. So he's still going to have troubles to catch up. He just needs to absolutely focus on nailing that final corner. He's got 2 times that he needs to nail that final corner. Use this lap to figure out how to do it. Use the next lap to nail it.
Yep, he's absolutely got to get the last corner sorted. Needs a good drive on Johnson if he's going to get this race win. But the pace is certainly there. We've seen that so far. With fastest laps, we know he's got the pace to catch up and overtake possibly. But is he going to yellow flags in the sector? It's going to put dampers on it for Bernard round. So won't be able to make the overtake, although he can continue to catch up with Johnson.
Yeah, yellow flags will already be cleared. They're already back into the greens. And 0.3 of a second it is, as Cabrera is into the pit lane, spinning and everything. Great. Weird. But Ruolt is very, very close. Again, needs to focus on how to...
He needs a good drive out of this last corner, but the gap
He needs
seems
to
be
figure
there.
it out right now. The worst thing for you to do, and this is something that I know people that have done IndyCar racing, he's a bit too on the power, a bit too quick, but this is going to be it. This is absolutely
going to be his chance with 2 to go.
Inside or outside? Inside or outside?
He's going to be forced to the outside.
No, I think
he's trying to go to the inside, and essentially he's going to himself a dummy here. He does! Almost, but then Johnson gets a comeback. Almost made it work. Tried to sell him a dummy, but Johnson didn't buy it.
Yeah, Johnson kind of left that inside open, waiting to see what Ruolt would do. Because I think at that point, if you're leaving the inside that open, you know if they're going to go for the inside move there, they're overcooking the corner. Or you've got the wider line and you could just run around the outside. So Johnson, perfect car positioning there into T1.
Yeah, but now Stefan knows what he's going to do, you see, so...
But he's only got one more chance to do it.
Unless Johnson makes a mistake on the final lap, which he probably won't do.
Unlikely. Johnson started the season with plenty of mistakes, more than a handful, but has really figured out this car as of recent. Not that Ruolt hasn't, they both have. These two are obviously P1 and P2 in the championship, definitely the 2 best in the series comfortably, not even with any of these new drivers that are coming in, they're definitely the 2 best. 0.7 of a second is the gap between the lead as they enter the final sector of the second to last lap.
It's gone up, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That's a problem though, but he could close it down, but he needs a good drive out of this last sector now. Otherwise it's not looking as likely as it should be. Really needs a good last sector. I don't think there's enough here as we go into the last lap.
No, that's way too far. Line X having a bit of...
Johnson, but it's looking more likely.
Line X having a bit of traffic problems with Jones, who needs to really out of the way because Quint is also catching Line X for that 5th position. It's only less than 2 seconds now, as Yunt and Grek are also fairly close, but I think Grek will hold on to that P3 as long as he absolutely gets this lap correct.
Yep, has to get this lap right, and well, Manek in P5 has really been impressive again. You know, he had that incident, but he's certainly made the most of what he can do.
He shook it off and get on with it.
He should be very proud with that P5 as Ruolt's closing in on Johnson again, but remember, he's already lost the turn 1 because this is the last lap. He's going to have to try somewhere else, and I don't think he's close enough.
He did make the move on Grek, as did Johnson, into the second to last corner, but I don't see Ruolt doing a last lap lunge. Throwing it down the inside, so this will be an interesting one. Is anything going to happen between the top 2? They're separated at the end of sector 2.
Johnson does make a mistake. He's going to have to try it at turn 12. Got no choice. He's got to try it down the inside. He goes.
Bit of contact between the 2 of them.
He's through, but a little bit of wheel banging. Slight controversy on that one, must be said. But as far as we're concerned, it's looking like he's going to get the win after all.
Yep, absolutely. Despite the contact, it will look like it'll be 2 in a row for Stefan Ruolt, who makes it another round this season where the race 1 to win goes on to win race 2. Stefan Ruolt's victorious here in Hungary, 2 in a row from James Johnson, despite the controversial circumstances, possibly for the DC side. So we'll leave it out there. Terence Grett gets onto the podium again, so fantastic result for him. David Junt to 4th. That is great. Mlinek in to P5. And even then, with his teammate DNFing from this race, that is still some great results from Hind on their debut. Mike Quint in 6th position, making 2 good results for Scuderia Basilia. Then it's Jonathan Holmes in P7, Johan Lindberg in P8, Mark Hutchinson P9, Randy Muru P10, Bruno Ferreira P11, Matthew Chergwin P12. It'll be Cameron Brewster in P13, so double points for Drake. Naranyan Kumar in P14, another race of what could have been. And Rob Mason will round out the points scoring positions.
Well, looking at that incident again, realistically, Rurold couldn't go much further inside, to be honest with you. And,
No.
couldn't do much, in all honesty. And, well, Johnson did turn into the corner, and then upon turning in, obviously Rurold was there, and then the contact happened. It's kind of a reverse Rosberg, Hamilton, and Austria, because this time they're not on the outside, they're on the inside.
Well, we aren't the race stewards, so it's not for us to decide. I'm sure
And
they
as far
will.
as we're concerned, he has taken 2 from 2.
Well, it's the way it has to be.
Yep, has to be. And I think it was a brave move. Obviously, he did win in the end. I said he had it in to win, and he has won. Whether he'll keep it is yet to be decided, but it's not ours to decide.
Well, I mean, either way, even if you could look at it that way, had James Johnson not made a mistake, then there would have been a win there anyway.
Well, yeah.
We won't be able to get around to doing the championship results at the end of this because we do have to wrap up this very, very quickly, and unfortunately we cannot do interviews with that. But there has been 2 good races, despite any controversy in there, and a nice debut from a couple of drivers. So thank you, everyone, for watching this broadcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for the final round before the summer break. It's been Lewis McGlade on lead commentary, Joshua Anderson on co-coms, and it has been Quintin Plane on camera. So we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.